Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Sour Graps. I'm your host, Alex Pulaski, and I'm back, baby!
It was so weird while you were gone.
Yeah.
I was just singing songs all by myself.
Oh,
I
that's
was
terrible.
doing puns to me. I was like, somebody play Zack Sabre Jr. versus whoever I want in 2K, and nobody was around. I couldn't just make anybody do anything for me because they're nice to me. So I missed you. It was very weird having you gone, but we're back, baby.
Hold on. Wait 1 second. Here we go. Finally, the Sour Boss has come back home. There, good.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Good. That's funny that this person sent this in probably before I did it, and I didn't see it until after I did it.
Oh my gosh! But that's how samesies and synergetic we are with the SGS.
We're all it was good. Yeah, it's good. Thank you, everybody. I received lots of. We're happy you're on vacation and having a good time, but please come back. Everything sucks. Yeah. We need you to talk about it. And here's what didn't suck. I'm gonna say here's what didn't suck. Not paying attention to wrestling for a whole week did not suck.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I need to do that because my vacations tend to be cruises where there's wrestling on them.
Yeah,
so I tend to not.
You're not actually. That's not a vacation.
I'm not vacating from my life so much when I go on those cruises.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have Corey Brennan on to talk in 10 minutes or so.
Cool.
To discuss what happened with Joe Gacy. It seems like he's okay, which is good news. To discuss Roxanne Perez. But before we do any of that, we're going to remind you to get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. This is the Sour Graps NXT post show for April 2nd, the go home to stand and deliver. Also remind you to please leave a thumbs up on this video. Also, Corey Brennan, just is there anything you've ever wanted to know about NXT? Well, I've got the posts that are going to ratio everybody. Dijak could never, okay? That's how good these scoops are. But head over to Fightful Select. You can read all about some promising NXT call-ups, a lot of praise for Roxanne Perez that broke over there today, what the plans are for Carmelo, the status of Ilya Dragunov, a lot of really, really good information over there. And we also just keep getting these Dijak-approved scoops from Corey, but he's going to come on in 10 minutes or so, 7 minutes or so, and he's going to give us a little bit more context for some of those Fightful Select reports. Also on Fightful Select, holy crap, we've got a lot going on. It is a very, very busy week to subscribe. Just yesterday in Wrestling World, we had the Bray Wyatt documentary, we had a CM Punk interview, we had Raw, we had AEW cuts, unfortunately, and just the episode of Raw. There is so much happening in wrestling this week going into WrestleMania week. So be sure to subscribe. There's tons of stuff going up. My goodness. But what do we do? I was thinking...
Who won the NXT main event last week? It doesn't matter what their name is. That's got good. Sepha says, I feel like Alex should get to pick the puns tonight. And we've done vacation puns before. And honestly, I feel like we've tapped that resource a few times.
What about delivery puns? Because we're stand on delivering.
Just DoorDash puns? No. So here's the deal. Amazon puns? No. So here's what it is. The highlight of my trip to Southern Oregon, where my parents live, was going to a place called Wildlife Safari, which is like a drive-through open air. All the herbivores are just walking wherever they please. The carnivores are behind fences, which sucks for them.
Probably for the best, though.
Probably for the best for the people who are idiots and get out of the car.
Yeah.
So but even behind the fence, you can still see everything. We saw two grizzly bear cubs running around and playing and wrestling. They were 20 feet from the car. That was really sweet. And then a rhino munching on grass. Literally, I could have put my arm out the car window and not touched him, but been 2 feet from. That's pretty close. But the best zebras, like 7-8 zebras, just bounding across the road in front of us, like this giant meadow hill. They just came down and then across the road and over to where they get fed. It was amazing. So here's what we're gonna do: wild animal puns.
Hey.
Wild animal puns, which allows for to be any kind of wild animal. We got birds, we got fish, we got mammals, we got reptiles. They were grizzly techers. They were training.
Heel hook after heel hook.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My God.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you about them zebras.
Uh-huh.
Were they made to look stupid by any distractions?
Honestly, they're just looking every which way, couldn't figure out where the action was. The grizzly bears are over here fighting each other. They're looking over here like, I don't know what's going on behind me. It was pretty terrible, honestly.
They're idiots. Those zebras are so
ENR starting us off hot. Zach Zebra Jr. Zach Zebra Jr. is amazing.
Come on, dickhead. We're getting to the other side of the road.
Okay, so here we go. Peyton, wild animal puns. Wild animal puns. We're good.
Any other highlights of your vacation that we should talk about before we get into NXT?
Just not having a clue what the discourse was. Apparently, a lot of people were angry about yarn, and I have no further context. I have no further context, and I don't want any further context. That was it. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. I'm
oh my
done.
God, that feels like 6 years ago, Yarngate.
I'm honest. I don't know. So I don't want to. I'm done. Please don't fill me in. I do not want to know. But So the thing, because I was on the West Coast, like all the wrestling on TV started at 5 p.m. I honestly have no idea how Denise Salcedo does it. Like the idea of let me start watching this program at 5 p.m. Maybe I'll have some dinner halfway through it and then do a review at 7.
It makes me wonder how it really makes me appreciate the live event aspect of it too, because that's crazy. When I was in Denver at Podcast Movement, Central Time, or was it Mountain Time? Mountain Time was perfect because I was like, oh, I get to start a review at 8 or 9 p.m. Right. That absolutely ruled.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot different if I didn't have a child that I had to feed at a specific time and do 100%. Things with. So that would be different. But because of that, it would be I don't know, 9 p.m. Pacific time, and I'd be like, oh, I guess there was wrestling tonight. Will I look at my Twitter feed, scroll back through, and find out what happened? You're damn right I won't. And so days passed, and I really only saw the things that WWE would tweet about the following afternoon.
Like The Rock just beating the hell out of Cody or whatever.
Exactly.
The big,
All right, go to town, Rock. So anyway, I watched on the flight everything I missed, except for Collision. I haven't caught up with Collision yet.
Oh, you gotta collide, bro.
I didn't want to.
Collide.
I didn't want to fall asleep during that, so I did SmackDown, Raw, and NXT from last week, and I fell asleep on the plane in the middle of Ridge Holland's retirement promo. So it must have been a barn burner. But I don't remember what happened after NXT after that. So, but I'll figure it out. I'm sure. I'm also sure that they started tonight's episode in my honor with a booking decision that makes all the sense in the world. Oh, wait, the opposite of that? Fantastic. Let's talk about that, Kate.
Let's do that also because the chat called it out. I am drinking a lime Spindrift, and I feel like I should shout out my local bakery because of that. So there's a great place called Ambi Coffee. They have a lot of delicious vegan treats. If anybody wants to go there, if there's ever a wrestling pay-per-view in Central Jersey, head on over to Ambi Coffee. But I'm not gonna let CM Punk ruin Spindrift for me just because he ruined a pay-per-view with it.
All right. So Kim Gray says, I was sour last night and had nowhere to go. Boy, I'll bet you were sour about last night's Raw. Paul Elizabeth says, greetings, SGS, and welcome back, Alex. Where does the WrestleMania bunny hide the eggs? Asking for a friend, JW Pringle. And JW Pringle says, Papa Paul Elizabeth, the bunny left me a Canadian destroyer. He's Canadian destroyer. I'm pretty sure he misspelled those both on purpose. Destroyer is what he says. And then Meet Norma says, ha na na ni na ha na 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 ha na na ni na 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 ha na na ni na ha na na na. Welcome back to Everything Sucks.
That was beautiful.
On the other side.
I was just watching Raw yesterday without you, like.
Mm-hmm. You texted me. You sent me a DM. You were like, "Hey, are we so back tonight?" And I was like, "We are not so back."
I couldn't remember.
We are so back tomorrow night. Tonight, I am so going to bed early because I so have to get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I so have a flight that boards at 6:20 a.m. So yeah, no, I'm
with the kid.
Very little sleep. So no, here we go.
Alex, multiple weeks in a row, I'm proud to say that Corey Brennan has chosen. He's elected not to be a coward.
That's good.
He has chosen to get scoops, which is nice of him because that's good for us and it's good for Fightful Select. So we'll bring Corey on here to talk about some of the great reports he's had. A lot of it has been some great stuff about production and, of course, the rave reviews for certain talent. So, Corey, let's start with the injury, non-injury that happened today. Poor Corey probably gets 9,000 DMs, and I'm one of them that's like, hey, Corey, can you bring this out before our show for us? And he always goes through and magically responds. So, scary spot with Joe Gacy that it sounded like from what you had told me, there was concussion protocol that they just wanted to be aware of with the spot with Oba Femi. And it seems like everything's okay based on what they said on air, but I'll let you tell us since you're the one that actually knows, and I'll stop paraphrasing you now.
So again, it was like you said, it was a scary spot, but it was one that I think a lot of people are convinced that Shawn Michaels is always working. He's always trying to convince people that something that's real isn't, or something that's not real is, or something like that. So
he's played into it a few times.
I'm not saying he hasn't. But again, people were like, "Oh, was it a real injury? Or they're just trying to make Oba look strong?" I don't think that would work too well. But yeah, like you said, concussion protocol. It was a case of recently, especially, and I don't want to say put it to what happened with Mox at Grand Slam and the coverage that came after that. But concussion protocol now has just been, we've seen it with Theory and Mello and so on the main roster. But the minute there's any sign now, it's an instant stop of the match. And I think that's great. But sometimes it is just being overly cautious. To me, it looked like Gacy was completely out of it. I think he might have just got buzzed, but they were worried about it being a concussion. He did walk to the back of his own power, which was obviously something that was immediately a good thing to hear, especially after such a scary fall. I was told that this did change the show up quite a bit. There was supposed to be more going on after that match. It was supposed to be Dijak breaks. You saw the segment after that was a pre-tape. That pre-tape actually only happened 5 minutes before it aired. Both segments were actually recorded within. They actually had something ready for Spears and Gacy, but because of the injury, they had to redo it. And while Gacy he is okay. We saw that he had a segment where he was able to crawl to Ava's desk and let her know that she was okay. So he is okay. They were worried about him, but they did check him out pretty quickly and found that he was, at least on early examination, that he is okay and he will be able to compete at Stand and Deliver. So they were worried at first. To a point that they pulled the planned graphics and videos for the match. to air. So that obviously was just them being precautionary, and I'm glad that Gacy is okay, honestly.
Yeah, as are we. That's always scary to see, especially this close to a pay-per-view. You hate to see it always. You really hate to see it going into the biggest show of the year. So I'm glad it seems like he's okay early, but that was certainly not the only news tonight. You had broken some stuff earlier on FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the biz. We had all sorts of scoops, but now we have cranked up the heat on the NXT scoop since Corey's been on board. And especially this week, you had some great stuff for us Friday, some rave reviews for Roxanne Perez, and some stuff about Ilya Dragunov this week. I'll turn it over to you as far as what you want to share, but would encourage you to go to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe because they had it first. But feel free to give any extra context that you would like to those stories.
Both of the stories kind of like they're kind of very similar in a way because they're both two talent that they've very clearly view is, even though Roxanne's only 22 years old, I think a lot of people, myself included, honestly forget that she is 22 years old. And she's found herself in a kind of a veteran's role almost in NXT now. She's been around so long. She's one of the top talents. She's constantly in on the show. But for the most part, a lot of people in NXT feel like, again, it's the same as what was in that Ilya report. A lot of people find that she is way past the point of being on the developmental brand. But that's the case with a couple of people down there right now. And Melo, Ilya, Roxanne, like they're all kind of just entering a point now where NXT needs them, but at the same time, they're past it, in my opinion. They're bigger than the NXT brand. And honestly, with both of them, I can see both of them being absolutely massive stars on the main roster. They're both well liked throughout WWE on both sides of the coin. And that's the thing that I think I talked about last Tuesday, Kay, is that there's a much tighter connection between the main roster creative and the NXT creative now, because obviously that Triple H and Shawn Michaels are the two heads of creative. When they're as close as those two are, you're going to have a lot more combination of just being on the same page for what you want to treat people as. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of with NXT talent, because under Vince, if an NXT talent was getting hot, it'd feel like they were pulled up immediately. They'd be rushed to the main roster, they'd end up getting lost in the shuffle, and they'd fall to the bottom. And now it seems like they're waiting for the right time for Ilya and Roxanne and Melo, for that matter. Sorry.
No, you're all good. I do feel like there seems to be like a cohesion of them being on the same page as far as maybe the timing, but it does also seem like we're getting these disconnects of like Braun Breaker being an NXT tag champion, but on the main roster. Melo, we have a little bit more clarity now that there's a longer term plan to call him up, but they still wanted to introduce him to the main roster and get his feet wet, it sounds like a little bit. With Ilya and Roxanne, though, you had kind of mentioned in those reports that there are some people pulling for Roxanne to win the title, and there are people holding that hope Ilya Dragunov holds the title for a little bit longer before he gets called up. Do you know if that's a tug of war with the creative side of things, or is that more roster wanting people to stay and go?
It's kind of a mixture of both. Like obviously when you have someone as talented as Ilya is, you want the talent want to work with him, they want to wrestle him. Like, and when I did speak to talent about Ilya, there was just glowing reviews, not a single bad thing to be said about him. A lot of people think that he might work too stiff or stuff like that, but no, everyone just feels like his intensity just brings them up to a new level. And I think he's one of the top 10 wrestlers on the planet right now, easily. So do I think that it's a tug of war? I don't necessarily think that's the right way to describe it, but I think it's a kind of a case of that Sean wants these people to stay in NXT a little longer, just for the simple fact that right now he is building up other stars. Like you've got Trick, who's going to be positioned to be the next top babyface, like Sami Zayn before him and Melo before him even. So do I think it's a tug of war? No. If from what I've been told, it feels like they're waiting for the right time and again, that's something that wasn't the case under Vince. That's something that I've been stressed to a lot, that NXT call-ups now, it's not the same like it used to be. It's a lot more of a conversation rather than a demand, if that makes sense, is what I've been told. And it's the same thing with going the opposite way. Like, we've seen main roster talent coming up and down. Becky, DOC were just wrestling tonight. Like, Sean wants those talents there also, because it helps the younger talent in NXT so much. Like talent like Axiom getting to work with DOC tonight, he's only just coming into his own as a tag team wrestler, like, and so is Nathan Frazer. So they getting to work with DOC is something that will benefit them in the long run, and that's the way the roster looks at it in both facets. But rounding back to just if it's a tug of war, I know I've said already that I don't think it is, but I think it'll become a lot more clear over the summer who's coming up and who's not. Obviously, like I've reported, Melo, Ilya, Roxanne, they're all positioned to be the next group of call-ups. I feel like if there's any injuries in the summer, I think there could be a rush put on these talents.
Sure, and we'll see too. There might be a superstar shakeup or a draft or whatever you want to call it. Hey, if you're a tribalistic nerd in the chat and you want to keep sending us money, feel free to, but we ain't reading that shit. So you can just keep spending money for stuff we aren't going to read. Have fun. But Corey, thank you so much for the extra context on those reports. Subscribe to Fightful Select for more. Corey is absolutely killing it, along with everything that we have going on for WrestleMania week, including Alex and I behind the paywall both nights of the PLE. So yeah, we got a lot going on. We will be on the main channel though for your stand and deliver review. I'm sure Corey will be on that as well with more scoops coming out of that pay-per-view. Corey, thank you so much for electing not to be a coward and coming on our show again.
Listen, I'm just saying this one time here. You don't do it.
What? Oh no!
Joke's on you. I can add my.
Oh, but I can take you off again. No, I'm just kidding. What? You're new.
I was waiting for so long to show that I can add myself back to it. I want to do it sneakily, and then just gone like that. It's not fair.
You didn't even see your little tagline below your handle, did you?
Oh, for God's sake! Like I've been saying constant times, it's ironic that you do have that Punk tattoo because you embody him so much, calling someone a coward, unwarranted, calling them out on a show, unscripted. Like, this isn't in our Fightful script. Like, come on. Got to get lawyers involved.
Look,
well, no, sorry, you need to get lawyers involved when I call you out.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm tired. Okay. And I work with guys in their mid-20s who are their children, as far as I'm concerned. So we do sincerely appreciate Corey so much for all the hard work that he puts into everything. If you're not following him, please do at Corey Brennan FF. Feel free to get more information on FightfulSelect.com. He had some good SmackDown and production notes this week as well, in addition to NXT. So Corey, doing fantastic work, and now I'll stop being in host mode and make you do everything because that's fun for me.
It is fun. It's fun. Okay, we have a couple more immediate pleasantries, and then we will get into the show. I promise. 24 minutes into it. Jenny Pringle says WrestleMania week and all through the society, everything was frantic. I get it. WrestleMania week and all through the society, everything was frantic. No sense or propriety. Alex was there, sour as ever. Kate said something witty and clever. Happy Tuesday, sour tears.
Well, thank you. That was beautiful.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, we miss you, Sour Lord. I'm glad you had a good vacation. The full SGS is back, baby. Yesterday was a rough one. Kate bangs equal fire.
Thank you. They do. Thank you so much.
And Amanda X31 says Central Jersey doesn't exist. Welcome back, Alex.
Okay, first of all, Amanda, that hurts. And considering you're my Eminem voice buddy, that hurts my soul. Central Jersey does exist, and it was made official by our government. And I live right in the heart of Central Jersey, kind of the top of Central Jersey.
Okay.
It exists. We don't say Taylor ham. We don't say pork roll. It's
so you're North Jersey then.
I'm the northern part of Central Jersey.
Okay. North Jersey. So
you do not have a stake in this.
No, I don't.
I would never say anything to playfully jab at any of my hosts. I can't believe you would do that.
You wouldn't do that.
Not 10 minutes ago with Corey.
No. So last week on NXT, the Braun Breaker decided to gift. So Baron Corbin walks in last week. I have to do this thing because I watched it, so now I had things to say, even though it happened last week. I'm talking about it now. He walks in on Braun Breaker and says, "Wow, nice tan." It's like, yeah, I go outside. Maybe you should try it sometime, you pale-faced weirdo. It's called The Sun. Maybe you've heard of it. And it's like, no, you know that tanning beds are not actually the sun. It's like, yeah, I do know that. Matter of fact, got you a gift. Somehow I made this gift for you before this conversation. And without this conversation, I would not know to make this gift for you. Here is some tanning oil that just says The Sun on it. So this is the state of comedy in NXT.
Yeah, I popped huge for that. That got me.
It's only because I wasn't here that you popped for it. You would know.
No, that was good.
It's terrible. So then the Good Brothers come in, and they're like, "Hey, won't it be great when we face you guys in Philadelphia?" And everyone's like, "Yes, we all agree this is the plan and has been since the Good Brothers showed up at NXT, right?" Surely, I thought about last week. Next week, they won't do a weird, nonsensical booking decision in the triple threat and not have the Good Brothers face Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin at Philadelphia, right? And so here we have the opening match of tonight,
Alex,
which is Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson versus four fast guys. And the match is good. The four fast guys get to do fast things. And then the veterans get to smash them and stuff. It's fine. And at the end of everything, Karl Anderson gets pinned by a 450 splash from Nathan Frazer. And so the only thing this means to me is they have decided they want Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin to remain a tag team, but they don't want to bring Baron Corbin to SmackDown. So they want these guys to stay champions for a long time, I guess, in NXT, which makes zero sense since the way you've introduced Braun. You got a whole Braun Breaker video package where, like, it's by the numbers, how fast he runs, how much weight he can lift. You're running that on SmackDown, but he's not on SmackDown. He's on NXT as the tag champions. If you just have them versus the Good Brothers at Stand and Deliver, the Good Brothers win, and Braun goes to SmackDown and probably should bring Baron with him, but he might not. But Braun goes to SmackDown because it's his time now and has been for 2 goddamn years. But now they're going to have Braun and Baron beat for the 3rd time Nathan Frazer and Axiom. We've already seen them beat them twice. Now we got to watch it a 3rd time, but on pay-per-view this time, so that we can put off the Good Brothers versus Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin match until later? Or are Good Brothers just going back to the main roster? I don't know, because they don't know. And all this synergy and cohesion between Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I call bullshit. Because there ain't none that I'm watching.
You guys thought I was mean to Corey. Alex shoots on Corey Brennan.
I'm not saying he's giving us fake scoops. I'm saying they're giving him false information.
Shoots on Corey Brennan. No, I think Frazer and Axiom are gonna win, and I think Braun is going up, and maybe because they're fun and people like them, and they don't care if wins lead to booking or not. So I think that they probably go over, and I think the Good Brothers are probably like your first contenders. This was a very fun match with a perplexing booking decision. I was very, very confused by it. I thought Machine Gun looked great. That's not just to pop Luis. I really did. I thought he looked really good in this. But I do it seemed like such an obvious W for the Good Brothers, who were not being used on the main roster, to come down here and do a bunch of really great work with some younger and growing teams.
They're a perfect team to take the titles off of Baron and Braun, hold the titles, and have all these fun young teams chase. I'm not saying they should hold the belts for a year or even 6 months, but you have all these fun. Honestly, to me, it's much more interesting if these guys, the Good Brothers, beat Baron and Braun, Braun, Braunen, they beat Braunen and Braun Corbin, and so then they have the titles, and Nathan Frazer and Axiom chase them and beat them for the titles. That's way more interesting to me than being like, hey, Nathan Frazer and Axiom get a third opportunity to beat the Wolf Dogs and finally do it.
Okay, Corbin does not have a superfluous extra B, so he does not get that right.
I mean, if you combine them, it's weird. Corbin Breaker. No, I'm trying to figure out how to portmanteau them. It's hard to do. No, I want to make it my own thing.
Well, we're already back on our bullshit. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I do think there's been a lot of Axiom and Nathan Frazer are a lot of fun, and I think it'll be a very fun follow-up to Corbin and Breaker, the Wolf Dogs. And I could see them going up together, perhaps. Or the other thing that I was thinking about is, and I don't know if I love this idea, but maybe they're going to do the two of them with Tama Tonga. It's going to be a trio dealy because Bullet Club reasons. I don't want it. Also, yes, Diet Jack has a ratio shirt. I kind of have to buy it. I feel like.
I mean, like, I like Nathan Frazer. I like Axiom.
There's not a winning percentage or record or string of wins that justify them becoming the champions. And it doesn't feel like, despite them having taken 2 losses to the Wolf Dogs, that there's been a story or a rivalry built out that makes it feel. It's not like with Chad Gable and Gunther, where you're like, oh my God, his daughter was crying in the front row and they did all this creative work to get us back there. This just feels like they lost twice and now they're getting a title shot because they won the thing. Doesn't feel
mostly it does feel like either it's haha, you thought we were doing this, but we're doing this instead, keeping you on your toes. And it's not that, because you're too dumb to be doing that. Like the bookers are like it. So
it's certainly not that maniacal in that voice.
No, but it's that it's the whole thing of like you've had constantly since the Good Brothers came down to NXT. You've had them constantly talking shit to Baron and Braun. If Baron and Braun lose the titles to Nathan and Axiom, and Braun goes up, and maybe Baron goes with him, and they never have the match versus the Good Brothers, what the hell have you been doing all this stuff for? Like constantly, the Gallows and Anderson talking shit to the Wolf Dogs, and I like Braun and Corbin. I like that's much better. I think it rolls off the tongue.
Does it make more creative sense for a team that has main roster credibility and has been talking a bunch of S to the Wolf Dogs to face them at the biggest event of the year for this brand, or a team that has just lost to them twice who is fun? Yeah, there's like a very big creative gap there for sure. So I'm with you, but I do like Braun signed to SmackDown. Like they have to get these titles off of them. So
right. It just feels like this. They had a great opportunity. Here's the other thing, like Axiom and Frazer beating the Wolf Dogs. Who's your heel champs that are gonna who's your heel challengers are gonna chase?
You mean after
Frazer and Axiom are a champ? Like it's really the way that they book. It's really hard for them to have tag champs, especially these guys who are baby faces without like a rival. And I guess the rival is the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it'll be a lot better if the Good Brothers were the champions and then you have the fun, fast guys chasing, getting knocked down and getting back. Like that's honestly the way I thought they were going to do this was the Good Brothers win and then deliver. And then over the next several months, you have Axiom and Frazer keep trying to get back to a title shot. And when they finally do beat the Good Brothers, that's a major feather in their cap. Here it just feels like we're going to skip the actual step that makes sense and just make them the champs now.
Probably out the mud, as the chat was saying too. But the tag team division just feels weak right now. Like they got not from a talent perspective, but from a booking perspective. It's not.
I just want now. You know what? I want the brand split to exist for NXT. I don't mind the main roster people coming to NXT, but that's the only brand they're on until they go back up. I can't. The LWO, you were literally doing a standoff with Dom and Santos. You know what I mean? Like you last night. Why are you? While involved in all of this, what brand are you on? What are you striving for? The Good Brothers were in both tag team title pictures like 2 weeks ago. Like I want them to be on one show or the other. It's just you have enough talent. You don't have to like pull people from both sides.
Look, I don't want to brag, but I get to complain about this every Tuesday and the Thursday. So
yeah. It's good for you. It's good for your personal brand,
but I hear you. I'm with you on that. I am not with you on the oil being named the sun not being hilarious. That was great.
Yeah. So was it bronzer?
I think it was a tanner.
If it was, self tanner, like a bronzer thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. So yes, Luis saying that Corey Brennan said, taking everything I worked for, motherfucker. Okay, so Lexis King had a vignette before his match against Von Wagner later tonight, and that is the extent to which I remember. He did have a vignette. I do not remember what he said or why it's important.
This was very medium.
So Jacy, Jayne, and Fallon Henley were out there. Jasmine Nix, 7 Y's and a couple of X's. There's a Z in there. So Q. She comes out in her arm in a sling because of the Kimura that she was in last week.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out like what bone that she would have broken and how many different letters I could add to it, but I don't know anatomy enough. Radius? She's got a radius, but there's a Y. There's a Y in radius when she does it. There's a Y in radius.
RAYDIUZZ.
Hold on, 2 Y's. RAYDYUS.
I like
radius. Good.
I'm in.
So anyway, when it was like, so good girls come out and there's 3 of them. Bad girls come out and there's 4 of them, but one of them has a broken arm. One of them got a boo-boo. I wonder what this is going to lead to. And so there's a brawl that happens on the outside, and Fallon goes out to settle the brawl and slides back in to a fantastic looking running knee from Jacy Jayne, and pins her. And then Jacy Jayne goes backstage after the victory and does a promo to the camera in Gorilla with Ava Raine on headset. And I did not realize she was actually running the show as a general manager. She was like the producer. And she's like, okay, move it along, ladies. And they do. And then Thea Hale comes back there just jumping up and down and screaming mostly about cocaine, I'm sure. And she's like, okay, you know what we're going to do? 6-woman tag on Stand and Deliver. Get out of here. And then they jump up and down. They're very happy. my kingdom for a moratorium on I was never your friend stories in NXT, because I've seen just about enough of those. Actually, I reached my personal limit like 4 or 5 of those ago, and I don't need any. We don't need any more of those. So
it would seem the trope has overstayed its welcome. But I do agree with you. That running knee looked awesome.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I think NXT still has a long way to go, but it is nice to see them starting to follow the main roster in the way that they're switching up some of the production. It has felt for a while, you and I have said, that there's like the cinematic masterpiece universe of NXT, and then we are standing in the back talking to the camera like this. So it was kind of weird. Ava is a gorilla because she really runs things around here, I guess. Good on her.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that there's at least an attempt to make it seem like there are endemic areas where things happen in pro wrestling. That is always very refreshing to me. I love that across the board. So I did appreciate those things about the segments, but boy, we are at some tired tropes with the women's division. We really are. This psych about our friendship thing is definitely one of them. It's very, very tired. It's up there with you're a heel, so now you have black lipstick on and you dress different. Or we're going to talk about it later, but this, I had to tap into a different side of myself shit. God, how many times are we going to see people dig deeper to find the darkness with that? I'm done. I am done with people digging deeper within themselves to find the darkness within. It happens way too much, and only Blair Davenport has killed it. So I feel like they need to expand what their definition of creative is in a lot of ways, this being one of them. It was a well-executed version of a very tired trope. I'm glad that these women get a spot on Stand and Deliver, because there are people that are not going to be on Stand and Deliver that I feel like should be. They've very heavily profiled Chase U when they're not really doing anything. I know it's not your thing, but when you think about the people that have been featured, certainly feels like they should be in the mix. So I'm glad to see that there's an effort to the very vast women's division, and I'm glad some of these workers are getting on the show. It's just kind of a tired way of getting there.
Yeah, so we're getting Izzy Dame, Kiana James, Jacy Jayne versus Fallon Henley, Kelani Jordan, and Thea Hale at Stand and Deliver. Cool. Is this the second women's match and that's it? Because there's no tag team titles anymore, so this is the second women's match.
Yes.
So the women's title match, and then this one, which I guess you get to be on the main card because you're the second women's title match. Like when they announced Gacy and Spears for the kickoff show, I was like, no, that is absolutely a match on the main card that I will want to see. Now you're telling me now I have to tune in to the NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver pre-show at brunch time? I'm going to be sitting there with a ham, egg, and cheese on a bagel watching. Okay, fine. I guess I'll have to watch.
Specifically, Effie's Big Gay Brunch is going on at this time. So shout out to Effie and his Big Gay Brunch, which I'm very excited about. He's booked such legends as Baby Bop in the past and our friends Eminem Boys, but the timing of Stand and Deliver is always weird. I do love me some daytime wrestling. I gotta say, when we got to do it when the pay-per-view was in Australia, I was like, this kind of rules.
I like daytime wrestling when the daytime wrestling is the only wrestling of the day for me.
There's that part.
That the idea, we watched the Stand and Deliver, do a pre-show, and right about now is kickoff time for the
Wait, Mania. Was it Mania weekend when we did our timed one?
No, that was when they decided to
did AEW and NXT back to back, right?
Yeah, they did that. I think they did that.
Well, we had our Beat the Clock review.
Yeah, we had a Beat the Clock review,
which was the least us thing in the world.
Yeah. I literally had a timer. I had a timer that I was showing to you. You have 2 minutes to talk about this match. That was Brawl Out. Honestly, that was Brawl Out.
A lot happened that day. My dog died at the end of that day.
That
My
was a bad.
God.
That was a bad day for a lot.
Whew.
Oh,
And look, continuity.
oh my goodness! Like serendipity.
Couldn't manage a target.
Josh Briggs is Mr. is no, he's not Mr. Mayhem. He's the man of mayhem.
No, Mr. Mayhem is Wardlow.
Yeah,
It's not a mayhem in wrestling.
there's
Which
a lot
fair.
of, which is fine. I just feel like, hey, here's our tall, bearded white guy. Let's call him Mayhem something mayhem.
Mayhem.
Something mayhem. Figure it out.
Is he kind of big? Then he's Mayhem.
Yeah. I didn't realize now that the vest he is wearing is a biker vest. It's got like a little patch on it.
It's only one vest. I know that much.
Yeah, but he does wear a sleeveless stuff underneath it, so he's back to being double vest now.
Okay,
not for wrestling, but for like walking around backstage, he is
sure.
definitely double vesting. Yeah.
You like to see the character continuity when it comes to vests.
Luis letting us know that even Steve Macklin has Mayhem for All. I think that's his thing. So
Steve Macklin should have Mayhem for All.
He really should. He should be.
That guy. And I'm not even saying that this is bad. It's just we have a lot of mayhem in wrestling right now.
We do. We have a lot. We have a surplus of mayhem. So he's like a lot of you know me as a tag team wrestler, but I got some advice from an absolute legend.
Don't take it. Don't take JBL's advice.
And JBL says, the last guy that I was so high on was Baron Corbin, and look how that turned out. He doesn't actually say that, but that is continuity. You have to recognize that, like when JBL says, "Hey, big white guy, I think you're the future of wrestling." He's said that before, and it has not turned out great. So I would be like, I would take any advice given to you by JBL if you're a big white guy with a grain of salt. With like
throw it out the window.
With like one of those
window.
One of those little those big salt things that like has the pour spout. Like that's that's how much salt to take with
a lot of grains.
A lot of grains of salt.
A lot of grains.
Most like thousands
all
of
grains.
Of salt.
All the grains.
But he says, I want to see who the real Josh Briggs is. And that was the advice I got to show the real me. And apparently this is it. I do a lot of lariats. Like this is his deal. He just does clotheslines now. He beat Duke Hudson with 2 clotheslines.
I do a lot of lariats.
He's Stan Hansen. He ain't, but he's getting better.
He is getting better. It is nice to see that improvement. Later, he turns into Joe Gacy, according to Booker T, who does not know the difference between Joe Gacy and Josh Briggs. But he shouldn't beat Duke Hudson with 2 lariats. Duke Hudson's great, and he has a very cool pendulum backbreaker, and you should play it in 2K.
Here's how crazy the opening match decision of the Bookers was. It would be as though Duke Hudson somehow beat Josh Briggs last week and was in this North American Championship match when he had no interaction with Dijak or the champion leading into it. But they did the exact same thing with Frazer and Axiom. I'm not going to let this go. Like, they have been nowhere. They could have easily had a scene talking to Braun and Baron, but they didn't. The Good Brothers have like 12 of those since they showed up on the brand, and they're just not getting the title match. I don't get it. Okay. Lexis King beats Von Wagner because Von Wagner couldn't table him.
Can you just say that one more time?
Lexis King beats Von Wagner. Okay, that's good. We're gonna have to get you a rolly chair. You got a Chris Collinsworth this, or it doesn't look right. It just, you know what this looks like? This looks like when I say something that really makes you laugh and you fall over and then you sit back up. Like that's not sliding in on a chair. That's just you sitting up. That's better. Can you Can you angle your camera like farther toward?
I'll workshop it off air. Okay.
Just try to get it better. So anyway, Von Wagner. His one thing he does is table you. And I've seen him table some pretty big fellas.
I've seen it.
Bigger than Lexis King, but he couldn't manage to table Lexis King. And because of that, he lost. That was it.
My thing is, doesn't he usually lose and then table people?
Well, the thing is, he already beat Lexis King once. Like, nobody loses to Von Wagner. Lexis King did. Lexis King got his win back because Von Wagner tried to table him and couldn't table him.
But, like, my thing is, that was... Normally, it's like, I lost, and then I table you. So this idea of, like, well, I couldn't table you, so I lost the match, doesn't make sense because those...
He tried to table him during the match. That was his downfall.
That's
if he had
the
just
problem.
waited until after he lost the match, then he could have tabled him. Because we've already seen him do that many times.
But that's the thing, is it's like, I don't buy that he was handcuffed from winning the match because he couldn't table him, because he always does that post-match.
He tried to table him, and instead Lexis King DDT'd him.
Yeah.
And then he onto the mat on the outside, and then rolled him into the ring where he gave him the coronation and pinned him. This is one of those weird deals of, like, the last time I think we saw them, there was that weird anonymous thing where he's like, Stone, I'm sorry, Stone. I didn't mean to do this thing. I'm sorry. You do whatever you want, Vaughn. I'm leaving. And so I guess this was him trying to get revenge and failing miserably. So
that is correct. He did not do well.
Okay, so
it was a very they have not figured it out with Lexis King.
No.
Like, when he arrived, Sports Illustrated article that was ridiculous aside. Like, the vignettes were cool, and it felt like we had a clear direction of, like, him resisting going over to the crazy side because he didn't want to be like his dad, and that's why he has a different name and all these things. And now he's just kind of like a big old goofball that was kind of sleazy to women. Like, there's no...
This is the thing. It's like everybody was wondering, would he be like his dad in NXT? And the vignettes were to make sure we knew he would not be like his dad. And that was all the vignettes were supposed to be. And then he showed up and he was like, just kidding. He's like, I am definitely not like my dad. We won't talk about it anymore. We're just going to make me into a character that is off-putting in almost every single way. I won't be my dad though, so don't worry about that. But I wear a Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club jacket. I slide out on a chair. I am really skeevy to ladies. I'm not great in the ring. What's there not to like? So, now it works.
It, to me, felt like there was a cool idea that I guess they just didn't execute, of a struggle of, I'm resisting my dad because I know, like, somewhere inside me is that guy, and they were just like, nah.
I will agree with you. That was heavily implied by the vignettes, but they immediately decided we're not doing that anymore. But once he was like, I'm gonna trick you into thinking, into booking me into a pay-per-view match that I will then lose and gloat about.
Sucker!
Like, I mean,
I will say, Brian Pillman Sr.
Yeah.
That is a very specific character that is very challenging to pull off. So if he doesn't think he can do it, or they don't think he can do it, they shouldn't try and do it. Like, that is something that is very tough to do in wrestling. And honestly, probably the closest person doing it great right now is Joe Gacy. So you don't want to have, like, redundancy and be the lesser version of. We already have that. Right. Feels like with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory on the main roster. Like, you don't want to be a lesser version of someone else. So I'm glad that they abandoned it. But that being said, I haven't seen the thing that makes Brian Pillman Jr. like undeniably himself yet, or great at this yet. So it's developmental. They've got time to find it. But when it's like, man, this guy in Von Wagner, I'm not like, oh, let's go. I can't wait to see what the in-ring of that looks like.
So, okay, I'm gonna try and move these things together. So Carmen Petrovic is backstage with Natalya. Okay, can we talk about Natalya just shows up
And
because she was in town. Like, was she just working out at the performance center and heard there was an open contract and said, "Hey, I'll do that"? Do any of you girls who actually work here want the contract? Okay, you, and you do. Okay, well, screw all of you. I'm gonna go out and take it. Because like, what the hell? Lola Vice has an open challenge, and I'm assuming there are lots of women who want to get some TV time, maybe get a surprise victory, even if it might get their head kicked in. But Natalya just like stole it. And then
she answered first, though.
Listen,
I think you're forgetting that she's.
We have established that there is no consistency.
She's the boat.
No. So we have established there's no consistency in NXT open challenges. Either you have to run to the ring the fastest, or fight everybody else on the roster in the back, or you can sign up for it ahead of time, or you can just like say, "Hey, Ava, I'll take that." Like, I don't know, like but pick one and make it be consistent.
Or you can be a mode of transportation.
Yeah,
that is seafaring.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to do whatever you want,
including pin Lola Vice for no reason last week.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, what it was I thought we were going to see that be added to Stand and Deliver. I thought after tonight we were going to have that be added, and that was going to be the second women's match, and the third women's match was going to be the 6-woman tag. That'll just get 7 minutes on the pre-show, but they didn't add it. So anyway, she says, "Hey, Carmen, don't worry. You have a really good chance of beating Lola. Just watch out for her kicks. You'll be fine." Which is a kind of a thing you can't do with Lola Vice because she kicks you very hard.
Yes.
And then Roxanne walks up. 3 months ago, I would have paid attention to every word of advice she gave me. Now, though, I understand that my heroes are not who I thought they were. And she leaves. And I just want them to stop doing this to Roxanne. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't find this character, no matter how well it is performed, to be compelling. I'm not like I hate this person. I don't want to watch them on my TV. And they make this a lot of women in NXT have this personality when they turn heel. And it's always grating to the point where I just don't want to. And I love Roxanne Perez. Roxy's amazing. She's a brilliant wrestler. This character is the pits. And I can't get over that. Stop making Roxanne do this voice and this mannerisms. I don't want to be reminded of what my daughter will be when she's a teenager. I just don't want it.
I've liked the parts where they've dug into her story. And I mean, I haven't liked that they were like, "Hey, the booking's been shit for like a year with this phenom." But I like that she at least has justified the behavior when she's just going up to other people in the back that has nothing to do with her. I'm not like, "Oh, what a heel." I'm like, "What the hell are you doing here? Like, why did you just sign up to this conversation to be like, I don't like you anymore? Like, they're not going to have a match. What? Why are you injecting yourself into this thing that has nothing?"
Maybe that's what one of the things Natalya's doing. Maybe if Roxy wins the title on Saturday, her first defense is against Natalya and she beats her. Like, maybe, like, honestly, if Natalya is it, and again, you're either in NXT or you're somewhere else in the main roster. If Natalya is on NXT for the next 6 weeks and mentors Carmen Petrovic to a victory over Lola Vice, Lola Vice can get her win back over Natty along the way, please. But also, Natalya has a match with Roxanne, and Roxanne gets to beat her hero, because the last time Roxanne had a match with Natalya beat her. When Roxanne was just like the girl who was so happy to be here kind of stuff. The thing that she hated and she was so disgusted by.
This is a lot of peripheral work to get Roxanne win back over Natalya hard.
I mean, I don't know. It is apparently one of her heroes. And so, yeah, it's fine.
I have a question about Carmen Petrovic.
Mhm.
She's got a sword. Is
She
it her
does.
mom?
It-
Does
I'm gonna
everybody who has a sword, is it their mom?
right. I'm gonna say it's her uncle.
Okay. Respect. I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Because if it was her mom, that would be crazy and too close to home. It'd be too close to Drew's creative. But if it's her uncle, like my uncle's sword.
Right. It's not. I don't know. Is this because apparently, according to lore, that is the great sword of his ancestors, and he named it after his mom. Is her sword like just one you can go down to like the weapon shop in the mall and buy it? Like
it is significantly smaller, but it feels proportionate to her size. Like how Drew's was proportionate to his size.
Anyway, Lola Vice defeated Carmen Petrovic.
She did.
She did it with a sharpshooter while looking Natalya in the face, which I thought was fun. This Lola Vice must be quickly becoming one of your favorite wrestlers because her signature moves now are a spinning back fist and a sharpshooter. So like that's just Bret Hart and Eddie Kingston smushed together in the body of a smoking hot Latina MMA fighter. I mean,
it's pretty great.
Good. It's pretty great.
I like her, and I like her a lot of, and it's not the fault of the wrestlers. A lot of the presentations of the wrestlers in NXT are very cartoonish and or very high school.
Yeah.
She does not feel that way. And she's great. Like she's really, really good in the ring. She's kind of a brick house. Like, and she's sneaky strong. And I also liked that Vic Joseph kind of talked about like the MMA backgrounds and of each fighter here. And then I like how because Booker T is terrible at this, he just repeated what Vic Joseph said. But I like that this was just kind of like a cool stylistic matchup thing. But I do also feel like I can't stress it enough. If one person brings a sword to the ring, like you should be able to do that. Especially like if it's not a weapons fight. Like if you're just bringing a sword, that feels like an unfair advantage.
Right.
That feels more dangerous than, let's say, brass knuckles.
The problem I had was when Drew would bring the sword to like a no DQ match.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you just kill somebody?
Just hit him with the sword. I mean, this was not a no DQ match, so Carmen Petrovic would be disqualified if she sliced open, disemboweled her with like ritual, like.
There were many a week that you were like, I am done with Drew McIntyre not decapitating people.
It's true. Shibugan says that's not Natalya, that's the boat. The boat was very, very. She was so offended that Lola Vice won with the sharpshooter. She was like, she did this.
She played for the room she's in, though. That's NXT for you.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, you know what?
What?
Not everybody's sword is standing on end all the time, Alex. Not everybody has the snap in their sword that is needed at specific times. And there is something that can help your sword stay, sharp, stay standing on end. And Sean's going to tell you all about it right now.
Is your sex life stuck in developmental? Well, get ready for a call up with BlueChew.com and the code Fightful. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but how about this? No awkward in-person visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. But let me tell you, your package is not going to be discreet when you use Blue Chew, and the code Fightful helps give you that confidence, that performance to take you straight to the main event, if you know what I'm saying. When approved online by one of our physicians, it just arrives straight to your door. You're not going to have people nosing around with what you're doing. And right now, you get your first shipment free when you use the code Fightful. Go straight to the top, if you know what I mean. memorable performance, high spot, whatever other innuendos you can think of, BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
I had forgotten about your segues.
Did you miss them?
I had forgotten about them. Okay. So Ariana, so Gigi Dolan, it was in the scoop skis from Corey Brennan was not at the performance center. We don't know why she wasn't there. There was supposed to be a thing with that. So, Ariana Venti.
Alex, where could you read about such a thing?
Fightful Select, $5. So anyway, he says that Gigi Dolan's not there. Georgiana Dolan not there. And Ariana Venti standing backstage with a rack of clothes.
Yes.
That looks like somebody got from the Goodwill down the street from the performance center. It's like, and she says, "I have here a rack of the finest gowns in pageantry." And I was like, "No, you don't. I've seen the gowns they wear in pageants. That ain't it." But maybe they had to scramble and figure out what the hell they had to go to wardrobe. This is the best they could do. Fine. She says, "I don't know. Late. This is punctuality," she says. And Ren Sinclair comes in. She should knock. "Georgiana, is that you?" And Ren steps into frame. And when she said, "Georgiana, is that you?" she had to have been able to see Ren Sinclair from where she was looking. Like the idea of like, oh, it's not. And like, no, but you saw her. The spatial relations in those backstage things always crack me up. At least she wasn't like, "Hey, hold on, I'm going to follow you." And then at least it wasn't that, but okay. And Ren Sinclair's like, "Yeah, Gigi's not here. I'm Ren." It's like, it's like, "Oh, look at these final gowns I'm going to put in Gigi. But Gigi's going to look beautiful." Well, she already does look beautiful. Isn't pageantry about not conforming to any one standard of beauty? And I'm like, "Ren, it totally is about conform." I don't know what pageant are you watching, but she's like, "How are you saying I would change her for the worst?" No, I'm saying you change her for the worst because change her for the worst is not an actual saying, but okay. And she's like, "Yeah, kind of. Well, how dare you? I'm appalled. I'm as appalled as Natty was when Lola hit her with a sharpshooter." So we're gonna have a match. And yeah, Ariana Venti beats Ren Sinclair by grabbing onto the ropes during a pin and getting a leverage pin to win the match. I think this is a little placeholder to do some more stuff with Ariana Venti while Gigi gets back from where, but whatever.
Man, there are some obstacles with the Ariana Grace character, but her performance is not one of them. She's really good.
Yeah.
Her instincts are really strong with this stuff, which is good to see. Ren being like, she was like, "You're not Georgina." All I could think about was Anchor Man when he goes, "You're not Ron." That was the exact timing, and she was like, "I'm Ren." I don't know if Ren Sinclair's been on Level Up, but if she's going to be on NXT regularly, it would be good if they had like a trajectory for her to be on. This does seem like somebody wasn't able to make it. There's been a lot of crazy weather going on. It's very possible it was just literally like a flight or something, but so they had to makeshift stuff, and this was decent enough. Ren Sinclair left a mark on.
that was a nice overhand slap right there on the boob.
Oh boy,
that was woof. Luis can confirm that Ren has been on Level Up. Also, he says, "End this program now." I'm not sure if he's talking about just the Ariana Venti stuff or the entire show.
Or all of NXT.
I'm not sure which one.
It's a toss-up. Well, Machine Gun's on it, so probably not the whole show, but
well, I mean, he's getting pinned by Nathan Frazer in a nonsensical booking decision. So
that's a very fair
who
point.
knows? Just the Ariana Venti stuff. Okay.
Did you know it was Luis's birthday on Friday?
I didn't know that. Happy birthday, Luis. Happy birthday, Luis, because Machine Gun Carl Anderson now follows him on Twitter. So
Yeah, popular.
yeah, that's good. Okay, before this thing that I'm gonna hate and say really mean things about, and I don't want to, I'm gonna read some puns so we can all be happy before I do that. Okay? Cool. Well, first of all, here we go. Shibugan says, I tune in. One of the first things I see is SRS talking about Blue Chew. Was it something?
You summoned it. No, it was my fantastic sword segue.
Mm-hmm. Alpha Bill says, Alex is such a Dwayne. How # Full House for life. Was there a Dwayne on Full House?
Dwayne?
On Full
Are you
House?
thinking of Deke? Which was Good Morning, Miss Bliss?
Alpha Bill is apparent. I think he is calling out your full houseness, your full house card.
I don't
He is
remember.
pulling your full house card.
A Dwayne? I only know of The Rock.
Kimmy Gibbler's boyfriend.
Oh, that doof. Yes, no, I remember Dwayne now.
Okay.
I don't think I knew that was his name. And you, sir, are one to lecture when you don't even know the staple of Gia, but a very contentious relationship with her mom, and was a quote-unquote bad girl who totally would have been in NXT wearing black lipstick, combat boots, and too short of a skirt.
Okay, cool. Jamal says, Alex, how's the ankle? Sprained mine twice last month.
Yeah,
the
what
ankle,
happened with your ankle?
I sprained it in my sleep, and I could not walk on it for 2 days, and then it was fine. I don't understand. I don't get it. But I'm falling apart. Kate, well, Sophie Twos or Taves, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, says, Kate, your hair looks great today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And also says sorry about the weirdos on Twitter, which we should always just.
Thank you. I'm so used to it at this point.
Okay, we go. We got wildlife puns. ENR says Toucan Team 2000. Lupongi Vice says Zupongi Vice.
Oh, double.
Insert Clevin Tegan Knox Fun says Tegan Rhinoceros.
Zupongi Vice. Sorry.
I'm serious. If you've never been 4 feet from a rhino while it's munching grass, you got to try it out. It's pretty crazy.
It's kind of hard to find Jersey,
yeah,
Alex. I'll do my best.
Yeah, well, then figure it out. Chris Pereira says Emu Sakura.
Oh, remember when we got to see her on TV for 3 weeks and then
that was fun. What happened to that? Louisville says Blackpool Wombat Club. I like that one a lot.
That's really good.
Chris Pereira says Gorilla Mongoose. Gorilla.
If only there was someone with a really strong Jesse Ventura.
Chris Pereira says Dyak.
That's very good.
ENR says Zoe Stork. Insert Clever Tegan Knox Pun says Toucan Knox.
Very good.
True Infamous says British Wild Dog. British Bulldog.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says Wendigo Richter. Maybe the Wendigo ate your baby. Tom LaValle says Thrush, Magpie, Dingo, Kangaroo. Oh, Tom? I'm not sure.
TMDK.
Oh, there you go. Thrush, Magpie, Dingo, Kangaroo. TMDK. Okay, cool.
None of them kneel.
Not
a single one of them is knelt in their lives.
Ian R says Mr. Mayhem Warthog. True Infamous says
Warthog's World.
Kenny Omegalodon. Kenny by God Omegalodon.
There it is.
Ian R says Buffaloba Femi. True Infamous says Greg the Hammerhead Valentine.
Very good.
This is a great one from Lieutenant Colonel Photo. Hippopotam Mustafa Ali.
Oh, well done.
Another one from True Infamous. Dakota Coyote.
Ooh, nice.
Very
Those are
good.
good.
Chris Pereira says Ava Reindeer.
Very nice.
Kim Gray says Cowdy Roads, or would that be Cowdy Routes?
Whoa.
Alpha Bill says Gigi Dolphin. Greg Cherry says Daddy Ass Hopper.
Oh, very nice. Do grasshoppers, are they? I guess they're wild animals. We'll allow it.
True Infamous says Meng plus Penguin equals Menguin. The monster Menguin.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
True Infamous says Zack Sabertooth Jr. Ian R says Chase U. E-U-E.
Very good. Very good.
Electric Mayhem says Albacore Snow. Globby Fish. Gorilla Baboon. Trinfamus says the Manatee Becky Lynx.
Very nice.
Very good. This is one after my own heart from ENR. Bam Bam Bonobo.
You love the Bam Bam Bigelow pun so much.
I do love it. ENR says Jaguar Fox.
Very good.
True Infamous says Canaday Boy. Jackal Perry. Canaday, I believe, is the genus or species of the jackal. Jackal Perry.
Very nice. Way over my head. Way smarter.
He's also a scapegoat. Yeah. Oh, that's
I got
not
you.
really, that's not a wild animal though. True Infamous says Coco be werewolf. Electric Mayhem says evil armadillo. AO Sky. Shrew McIntyre.
Shrew McIntyre's really good.
Ian R says Koala Vice.
Koala.
Tom LaValle says Moose, Rhino, and of course, Big Josh's Bears.
Well, thank you for all three of those, especially that third one.
T-Electric Mayhem says Salacamander.
Very good. Very good.
Jinder Narwhal. And Kazuchika Okapi.
Oh, wow.
That's a really deep cut.
Oh, my
Okapi.
God.
Meat Normus says Penta El Cerro Meerkats. Cerro Meerkats. Oh, this is great. Okay. So we got a bunch here, like people sent in a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna do a
group reading.
Yeah, here we go. Meat Normus says Ricky Sharks, Big Duckbill Platypus, Keith Bearcat Lee, Tortoise Knox, Jade Bluegill, Ilya Komodo Dragonov, Will Osprey, it's a bird. Sefa says Cowrie Brennan, Snake Elizabeth, Alex Paulowski. Sorry, Alex, your name is tough. I don't take any offense. Feeling Dreepy says the GOAT, Brian Monkey Man, Randy Savage, Daddy Mallard, Big Spoonbill, Ricky Storks, and Noam Dar's favorite, the Alicia Fox. And finally, from Ian Riccaboni, Hyena, ha, na, 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 na. Hyena, ha, na, ha, na, na.
That's so good. I like it because that's an Us one.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a good
and I love Us and nobody else.
Okay. Apparently last week while I was gone, the Metaphor is hosting Stand and Deliver.
And Deliver.
And we are okay. Tonight they hosted a Supernova sessions.
They did.
So here we go. Noam Dar, who I love, though not nearly as much as you.
Nobody loves him as much as
says live from the moon. It's Supernova Sessions live from the USA. You cannot be live from the moon and also
Yes,
live
he
from the
can. He can
USA.
do whatever he
That's
wants.
not possible. I also
Hey,
call into question about it being live from the moon. I think you are live from the USA, but not live from the moon.
are you calling Noam Dar a liar?
I am calling him liar, folks. So
I'm gonna ask Corey Brennan to get confirmation on if he was on the
live
moon.
from the
or
moon.
not.
Okay, good. Roxanne comes out first. He sings Roxanne a few times.
Roxanne.
It is not without humor.
You are, sir. If you did not enjoy this opening from Noam Dar,
the opening was
fun.
fine. The opening was fine. Then we got into the heart of it because Roxanne comes out first, and then Lyra comes out, and all I can think about is like the women's title's cursed. Like it's just the booking is cursed. I don't like Becky's blip there where like it was like this weird like double-edged sword. Like it was awesome. She was giving people opportunities to like face her for the title and making them feel important, but also she cut short a title reign that should not have been cut short because the booking of that title reign was ass. The booking of that title reign was horrible. Poor Tiffany Stratton when she got the title, that was awful title reign.
But it is a false assumption that if Becky hadn't won the title, that the booking would have suddenly improved because
they would have had time to at least attempt to get it right. I'm not saying they would have gotten it right or even attempted it, but they would have had more time available to them to do it. And honestly, it's like Mandy Rose, who I did not like as champion, was champion for a very long time, and then they felt they had to fire her immediately with no notice, and they were like, Roxanne, I guess. And they had no clue how to book her as champion, did that awful thing where they stripped her of the title, which made no sense, even less in hindsight. And then Indy wins it and keeps it for 2 weeks, I guess.
Well,
and then
injured.
She didn't win it while injured. She had it. She retained it while injured, never defended it again, got called up, left it there. Indy is on the main roster, losing to Maxine Dupree and really pissing off Candice LeRae in the process. And then so then Tiffany had it. Her title reign was terrible. She lost it to Becky Lynch. The matches she had Becky Lynch were very good, but she lost them both. Becky Lynch's title reign was fun, but she lost it to Lyra. I think that was a choice. Becky said, I'm losing it, to dropping it to her and nobody else. And Lyra was like, thank you. That's cool. And Lyra's title reign has not felt great.
They've made Tatum Paxley weird. So there's that.
They certainly have. I don't know what the title reign would have been had Cora Jade not gotten injured. That was obviously the direction they were going, at least short term, was Cora Jade, because Cora Jade pinned her in a tag match. So they definitely were doing Cora Jade, but that also adds to the curse on the title. Indy becoming champion was a really cool thing, but then she hurt herself in her one real title defense, which she retained, but then you called her to the main roster, she vacated it. Tiffany won whatever it was that I can't remember how she won it. She won it. Awful title booking. I don't even know if it was planned or not. The weird thing on Twitter where she thought Becky was the champion when she wasn't. Then they actually do the program. She drops the title, never gets it back. She's on the main roster now. Looked like she was being booked to the moon by the Elimination Chamber. Where is she now? Not on the Mania card. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this thing. This particular program that they felt they had to turn a fantastic babyface in Roxanne into just a clone of every other heel they've ever had is an indictment on the creative process in NXT, the likes of which I don't even know I can find a match for. That is depraved how bad the creative is. If the only option you have for Roxanne Perez, for Roxy, champion of Ring of Honor at 19, is like the only thing we've got for her, because we can't figure out how to make her babyface character compelling, is to make her a clone of every heel character. That's what we have for her. And this is what we got. We're like, I don't even know what comes out of this, but I don't anticipate them turning on a dime, whoever wins this match on Saturday, and starting to book good women's stuff.
So the weirdest part to me with Roxanne is the Mandy Rose thing was unexpected and Roxanne won, and the best program that they've done with the women's title was that stuff with Mako, which was the rushed creative. Like, we didn't expect this gal to win, but we're going to bring in Mako Satomura. And that was great. The vignettes were great, and they were produced super well.
So good. And the match was amazing.
The match was fantastic.
Such a great match.
So this has been a reoccurring thing in NXT, which is so interesting to me. When their back is against the wall, when there's things that have gone unexpected or whatever, it tends to be better. And it, to me, says that they overthink a lot of this stuff. And it doesn't come across that way because a lot of it feels very basic. But it feels like there's been a couple times where they've had to pivot, and it ends up, because when you have to pivot, you're reaching for the next most logical thing. I feel like a lot of times that is more logical than what they initially started out with. But that's a perfect example of that. I completely get in developmental you wanting to see both the face and the heel side of someone. And I feel like on the main roster with both Drew and Bianca, we've gotten some really nice layered human being feeling, heelish moments, face tendencies, whatever. Where you're like, that person is working heel. Bianca's face now. But like, she had these like heelish moments. Where they still seemed like a human being. I don't understand how you have the Prodigy and you don't find the easiest heel turn in the world right there. Like, it's so easy to pivot from... I prefer Roxanne as a babyface, but if you're saying our mission is this is developmental, we want to explore both sides of the coin with this person, we know what Roxanne looks like as a face, why are you making her alternative black lipstick, everybody else, blame the crowd, whatever, gal? Like... She's a Prodigy. Just have her be cocky. And the thing that they laid out of the booking has been shit for the past year, and I'm going to do that in an in-character way, was good. But what you can have her say is, this isn't who I am. I'm the Prodigy. I'm whatever. And in order to become that person, I have to stop being so nice. Instead of going up to Natalya Hart and being like, I would have listened to you 3 months ago. Like, it's right there in the name. And I hate when you have... I'm not a big catchphrase gal. That's just not me. Like, story time with Adam Cole, baby. Not even for me. And I love that guy. But if you're going to have something like the Prodigy, and it has the added benefit of being true. She's fantastic. She's 22 years old. And she's better than a lot of people a decade older than her. It's so frustrating when something's right in front of you and they just deliberately go around it. I find that very frustrating. And you also already have this archetype. I know that Corey said the plan was to have her and Cora Jade be a bad girl duo, but it's like, being a bad girl duo, something that was good about Toxic Attraction was that Mandy Rose was different from Gigi, was different from Jacy. Like, I don't need them to both be wearing AJ Lee gear and black lipstick all the time. It's frustrating that they can't find alternate paths for people to turn heel, but we are seeing improvements of that on the main roster. I just wish it trickled down.
I mean, maybe this is something Corey can find out for me, but I if I am wrong, mea culpa. I don't think they have more than one, if that, woman working in creative in NXT.
It definitely does not feel that way.
And so, okay, so we're going to turn this female character heel. what does the room of 45 to 60-year-old men think we should do to make her a heel? And they have one idea. They have one idea. Like, even when you see like women, the characters on the main roster who have different heel runs, they're different heel characters. They're different things. Like, the other thing about Roxanne is she can have this whole, this is the title I never lost. This is a title, and
it makes sense. We've been begging for that.
Absolutely. I have felt like I have been thwarted in every opportunity. And Lyra be like, so it wasn't your fault then when Indy climbed the ladder faster than you, and it wasn't your fault when Lola cashed in her thing. Yeah, exactly. It's a ladder match. Put me in the ring 1-on-1 with Indy Hartwell. Let's see what happens. No offense to Indy, I think she's a great competitor. Her title, her versus me 1-on-1. Let's see what happens. If Tiffany wasn't in that match, the 3-way, I would have won that match. A ladder match, anything can happen. And yeah, me versus you without Lola coming in, I would have beat you. 10 times out of 10, twice on Sunday. This is not me disrespecting you. This is me being confident in myself. Without her being like, so, Lyra Valkyria, here you are again. Blah. Like, why do women have to have that cadence? Why are they all directed to be that person? I would say that maybe it's their choice. If all of them weren't being told to do that, that is a direction that the company is pushing these women in NXT to all. She sounds now exactly like Cora Jade sounded before she got injured. That's a choice. You're saying do this. The fact that they were like, oh, we're going to pair them together, there'll be a heel tag team now, apparently was the idea before Cora Jade got injured. That doesn't surprise me at all, because you turned them into clones of each other.
Yep.
They could just do twin magic, basically. Like, that's how close they are to being each other.
Alex, even if the directive isn't talk like that, when you give everyone, one thing that I appreciate in NXT is I think there's a lot of them saying slow down with performers very early in their careers. And when you say slow down and you're this person, that's what you come out sounding like every single time. And we had 4 women's matches tonight. That rules. I love the screen time, but it's, I don't know why, but like there's very few that don't get sucked into this. And it happens on the men's side, honestly. The part of the reason we love Oba Femi is he's just like, hello, I'm here to destroy you. And I will make you believe that that's the case with everything I do. And a lot of the men are cartoonish. This happens constantly on the women's side, where I feel like Lola Vice is a real person. Blair Davenport is a real person. Gigi was already alternative. Mm-hmm. And then when she was giving these really good babyface promos, they had abandoned that because I feel like you can't be alternative and a babyface in their world.
Not in their eyes, anyway. Yeah.
Like, it's rough. It's rough. And I wish there was more. Like, I think they think if, like, this girl has, like, a Southern cowgirl thing, and this girl is a surfer, and this girl is a backup dancer with risque gear, and like, they think that means all these people are so wildly different. But when they're all booked the same way and they're all written the same way, no, they're just the same person with a different job. That's it. And that is frustrating. But I will say I did like in this segment, it's been a little bit redundant. Like, I'm glad we're getting to the pay-per-view, because we're going to talk about the main event too and how that felt redundant. So I'm glad we're going home, because these feuds are ready to be blown off. I do like that Lyra is standing on her shit too. Like, it's not a lack of opportunities, chickadee. Is like a good thing for Lyra to say. She has work to do on the mic side of things. But I appreciate that the story that we're getting is, at least you've had your shots and you failed at them. And Roxanne saying, but none of those shots have been fair, is a good story. The cartoonish environment that it's enveloped into isn't great, except for Noam Dar, who's perfect in every way, shape, and form.
Luis reminding me that Tiffy won her title in a tournament. They did a tournament for the title after Indy had to put it up, and she beat Roxanne in the semifinals of that tournament. Not in the finals. Not in the finals.
Oh my God, that's right, because they can't
in
book
the
tournaments.
semifinals because they can't book tournaments. After at the end of this whole thing, they come to blows, and Lyra puts Roxanne through the coffee table, and all the jelly beans go up in the air and land everywhere.
And Noam Dar loses his mind.
Yeah. Dijak, there was a Dijak promo. It was a lot like the Briggs promo. I'm going to skip it because it doesn't ultimately matter, but it's good.
But it was like an action movie, and it's cool, and everybody
But Dijak's great. So Booker, Meet Norma says they should treat Booker T like Creed from The Office. Just don't plug in his headphones during broadcasts and put his podcast on MySpace.
Creedthoughts.com / It's good. It's good.
So Joe Gacy coming out for Oba Femi, his Oba Femi match, gets hit in the chair, in the back with the chair by Sean Spears. And he's like, that's like, haha, you laughing now? And then Oba walks up to him and Sean Spears looks up at him and backs away. And I thought that was great. And he's like, he is mine. And I was like, ah, I just love Oba Femi so much. And Joe Gacy puts up a really good fight. But you can't beat Oba Femi. During the match, Booker T says, "What happened to Joe Gacy, man? He used to have it all, and now look at him." Apparently, according to Booker T, having it all means being the leader of a cult. Like, used to have it all.
He also said like all together. Like he used to have it all together, man, and now he's really lost it. I'm like,
have it all together. Having it together is being the leader of a cult.
He was trying to mind control Parker Bordeaux.
Man.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, the match is going fine. It's hard hitting.
Yes.
Gacy just keeps getting back up, and then Oba Femi does the shot put. He does the couch toss, which is a bump that is hard to control. I'll just say that because he tosses you. Joe Gacy's a big dude, so he doesn't get a lot of distance. But Joe Gacy's, I mean, Oba Femi's shoulders are pretty high up, and then he gives you some lift, and you just land where you land. And I noticed in the air, Gacy was like flopping everywhere, trying to make it look even better. Like, ah! And I guess he landed bad on that, and they called the match. And apparently, like, the doctors ran to the ring. Oba Femi looked shook. Like, he looked like he didn't. He looked as un-Oba Femi as I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
After winning. So they called the match. Gacy walked to the back on his own. They were worried about a concussion. They were thinking about putting the pitched Spears and Gacy match for Send and Deliver on hold, but they decided to do it. I did like the backstage little bit they did with Dijak and Briggs, where they were like, "Do you see what he did to Go Gacy?" Yeah. Well, he's not going to do that to me. Me neither. They're still both so scared of Oba Femi, and they should be. And Oba walks up, is like, I will retain the title or whatever. And then Ava Raid in her office. Apparently, she's only on headset by Gorilla for part of the show. Anyway, Joe Gacy pulling himself up on her desk, be like, my back really hurts. Oba Femi's the beast. Anyway, I still want Sean Spears. Can I please have Sean Spears? Like, yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Just good that he seems to be okay. I'm sure they'll have a complete and thorough exam by the end of it. But if all early indications are good, it's a positive direction for pro wrestling to move to be cautious about these things. And there's just no match, not even stand and deliver. That's more important than people's health. So I'm very glad that they did the right thing. That was the least Oba Femi that we've seen him. But glad that he's all right. And it's also one of those things where it's like Joe Gacy is such a wackadoo. You could always, if you had to pivot, you could have him not show up and you would be like, that's a very Joe Gacy thing to do because he's psychotic. You could have someone else there and he interferes or whatever. But most importantly, it's past midnight, which means it is a certain Lieutenant Photo.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Lieutenant
It's his
Photo.
birthday. We thank you for your service and happy birthday.
So he gets to choose somebody to sing him happy birthday at the end of the show for free. So,
oh my gosh.
So he gets to choose it. Okay. Matthew Plus is back here saying, no, seriously, you guys still watch NXT 2.0? Yikes. It hasn't been NXT 2.0 in like a year. So
yeah, Matthew Plus, who I definitely can't stand.
Ever. Sol Ruca defeated Blair Davenport, but I guess that's good because the babyface won. But I loved that Blair Davenport scouted the Soul Snatcher.
Yes.
Like she went up for it the way she normally does, and she picked her ankle from off the top of the turnbuckle and slapped her down. I thought that was going to be the beginning of the end for Sol Ruca. And Sol Ruca, I thought the story was to get her win back versus Blair. She's got to figure out a way to win without that move. I thought that's a very clean story. And instead they were like, let's dirty it up. Let's just let that story wallow in the mud for a little while. Come in and track dirt through the house. And that's what they've done here. So so Sol Ruca winning, I guess, is good, but you had a really cool story right there for Sol Ruca to figure out a way to win without her unbeatable finishing move, because Blair Davenport is smart enough to know that's an unbeatable finishing move, and I should probably have that shit scouted. And now what do you got, Sol Ruca? Because Blair Davenport's got a lot more matches under her belt than you do. So what are you going to do to win? I thought that's a really cool storyline for this feud. And they were like, nah, let's have babyface win right away. And I don't know how that.
I also had the same thoughts that you did about this. Did you happen to catch last week's promos about such a thing? About the metaphors of surfing?
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of, yeah.
Sol Ruca's really good at a lot of things, and I'm nervous that she's becoming Surfer who has a cool finisher. They need to let her. A lot of it showed up in this match, and that's why I was frustrated, like you, that they didn't go with the story that seemed to be unfolding. Was she's really good at selling. She's really good at getting the crowd behind her, and very natural babyface. Very natural babyface. And it would have been so cool if she got thrown off her game a little bit here. And had to figure out a different way to win, or just lost and you continued the story. But I love Blair Davenport continuing to be very smart, and I would like to see her on a track of some sort. Like she had the match against Lyra, and then is kind of doing some stuff. But I really truly believe she is like a top industry talent when she is given opportunities to showcase that, and I would like to see her in contention for something soon. I
don't know if they're ever going to put the NXT title on her. If not, okay. Call up to the main roster, put her with Shayna and Zoe immediately. Blair Davenport, Shayna and Zoe as like a women's Blackpool Combat Club. They'll be more into the mid card than that thing, but like that's what they are. They help each other out. If anybody's in there, you do not touch my girl, because if you do, I'll break your teeth. Like it's one of those things. Like whoever one of them is feuding with, the other two are there backing her up. I think that could be really great. I think she would fit in really well. I love the idea of a little Brit flavor to that.
I love that idea too. I love that idea too, because it's all three of them feel very lethal in very different ways. And I think that would be very nasty.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, Matthew Plus. I'm back to remind the dregs of society, known as SGS members, that the occasional social interaction is healthy and could maybe lead to you losing your virginity, blah, 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 blah. He even insults you and your honor, and like that's not okay. We're not gonna nope. Done.
Thanks for the money, Matthew Plus.
Cool.
Yeah.
So quickly. Although it can't be quickly. Ilya goes out to his car and there's a boot on it, and then a couple of Goombas in a big SUV walk up. Hey, you should have paid those parking tickets. Get in the car. No, thank you, boys. I think I will find my own way. Get in the car, Ilya. And so he does, and they drive him there. And and he gets to they stop the car and he goes, walk. And so he gets out, he walks up. There's another Goomba sitting in front of a slidey thing. I'm pretty sure they just taped this at the back room of the performance center, and he just drove around the block. And then anyway, so he walks in there, and there's a guy menacingly cutting wood with a table saw for no reason, and another dude just like twirling a crowbar. And Dragunov's like, all right. And then eventually he walks past. There's just a phalanx of dudes in little fedoras and sport coats over white t-shirts. They're all just cosplaying as Tony D'Angelo. And then he sits down at a little table, and in comes Tony D. That's part 2. Part 3 is a little back and forth. Like, no man has ever worked as hard to be as intimidating as you, Mr. D'Angelo. I respect it. And like, I could have ended you at any time. I could still do it now, but I'm gonna wait to do it in front of the whole world. I like that. I thought that was good. I honestly, as over the top. Look at us. We are intimidating you, are we not? As this was, I thought that the dialogue between them was excellent. This is what I'm watching. I'm like, man, Tony, compared to the rest of his compatriots on this show, Tony D'Angelo and also Ilya Dragunov, to his credit, when they're given dialogue to memorize and read in front of a camera, are friggin' great at this. Like, really, grading on a curve, they're amazing. Not grading on a curve, they're really good. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, like, how you watch this and you go, this is a mob boss intimidating a Russian killer. It's a overwritten movie scene from some direct to streaming thing, and it's somehow really well done, really well delivered. All of it's very good. I like the callback of the finger injury from last week.
Yes,
that he still got it taped up, and then D'Angelo grabs it. That dude's got some paws on him. So if he's squeezing your broken finger, that thing would really hurt. Man, this is some good stuff, honestly.
This felt like a cinematic musical without a song in it, like the over the topness.
Table saw.
But at the same time, I was like, "No, this rules." I loved Dragunov in this, and I loved him saying that thing about I've never seen someone work so hard to have a mental edge. I think was the exact phrasing that he used, and I loved that because it says, I know the game that you're trying to play. Like, I know, and I applaud you at your attempt, but F off. Like, it is his whole disposition about the whole thing has been aces throughout this, because both of these guys, if either one of them are off a beat, this goes very wrong and looks corny in a high school musical version of the cinematic musical that we got today. But I love this, and Dragunov just we know what a badass he is in the ring, and we know how good he is at promos. This is, I think, kind of the first time we've seen him in these more unorthodox things with Tony D, and he's great at them. So I'm very much looking forward to this match, which felt a little like this is compensatory of the Trick and Mellow stuff, but they really built it into something that I'm very much looking forward to seeing.
The match is a foregone conclusion. Ilya is retaining, but it is going to be a war.
Great. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Like, it's like D'Angelo just throwing that guy all over the place, and Dragunov keeping getting up and dropping bombs on D'Angelo, and D'Angelo kicking out. It's going to be a really great match. There's zero chance Tony D'Angelo's winning.
For sure.
I mean,
for sure.
One of those things, the match itself will be fantastic, but wish there was just a tiny chance that I believe the
that's
Dragunov was getting
silly.
called up after Mania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this was a lot of fun. He was just like, here's your last supper, and he gives him this little little thing with a little silver tray on top, and I was like, he doesn't get to eat until Saturday. Like I'm like I feel like that's bad. He's still got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He doesn't have any more suppers.
Famished, this guy.
So Ava Raine tells both Carmelo and Trick that she is going to let the referee use their Jonathan discretion.
Remains a top tier thing I've ever said.
Just call it a no DQ match. I don't want this whole like, oh, will the ref disqualify? Just call it a no DQ. Let the referee not disqualify somebody for doing a blatant low blow or a chair shot or something. Anyway,
yeah, but then we wouldn't get to say Jonathan discretion.
yeah, that's true. Listen, all of the stuff they said back and forth to each other, I'm sure, was to a varying degree real and fun, and some of it was actually had good points to it. This is all some shit that I figured out in November, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like from the time you made it blatantly obvious that Carmelo was the guy to attack Trick, I was like, why would Carmelo attack Trick? And in my mind, I came up with the exact same thing that you told us in April. I figured that out 5 months ago, and you've been dicking around for like not telling us what is it. And I'm been like, oh, just now you're telling me, and it's like it's all the same thing. It wasn't like a specific particular moment. It was like I was trying to get back the title, and you here's the deal. I wish they would have used a specific thing of you became the North American champion, and there was nobody happier than I was. And then you were like, hey, I think you should stay back here, and I want to go out there and face Dominic in a rematch with all of his friends at ringside. And I want you to stay back here. And at the time, I wanted to call you a friggin' idiot. But I didn't. And what happened? You went out there and you lost you were North American champion for 2 days. And I wanted him to say, I was North American champion, and then list the number of days that he was North American champion. You know why I was? Because I trusted you to have my back. You didn't trust me to have yours. And right then I knew the days of the Trick and Mello game were numbered. Because if you decided you wanted to do this on your own without me, look what it got you, a 2-day title reign. And then you decided to jump the line and get in the line for my title. No, man. And honestly, he had some good points. I didn't like the whole metaphor of like, you tried to steal my girl, but like this was the title you knew I was trying to get back. And you said, no, how about I get that title? And I was like, no, how about you go back and get the title that you just lost? You became champion. You had it for 2 days. You lost it back. Go get that back. You had no interest. I have no idea why Trick was like, hey, I became North American champion. That was fun. It was 2 days. You know what I should do now? Not try and get that title back and immediately become the big champion. And I feel like Melo had a good reason for that. But all of this was basically stuff that we figured out a long time ago. So it was just a lot of talky until they started fighty.
This is the like perfect example of something that you don't like that the internet salivates over, because it was pretty sound in the reasoning. It was well delivered by both of them, and it was no new information whatsoever. Which is, and you're right about that, and they're also right about that, and that makes sense. I like Carmelo pointing out at every corner how much more experience he is at this. I like Trick saying you were getting jealous of me. I like all these things. We had a 3-part video thing last week
we got enough of this.
Laid out a lot of this already. It was kind of like they were just saying what we heard last week separately to their faces a little bit. So there wasn't a lot of extra heat thrown on this thing, but I don't have complaints about what they gave us. I have complaints about what they didn't give us, and that's new information. But watching this made me happy because I was like, man, Carmelo, we've known he's ready. But when he's doing stuff like this, he's so ready. Like I'm very excited that he's moving up to the main roster because seeing him tonight, I was just like, he's ready to go. And I think Trick is ready for the next chapter of what his career is going to look like too. So that stuff made me very happy. No complaints about what was given, just complaints about what wasn't given, which was that extra punch going into a very important match in NXT history, into the biggest event of the year. But it was just a little safe, but nothing really wrong with anything that was said.
Yeah, so they came to blows at the end of the night, and they just weird thing where they both like ran to each other and then jumped, and then they jumped and then they landed. And they did. They did do that. That match is going to be great. It deservedly will have the main event slot.
Yes.
Carmelo will lose, get called to the main roster, and Trick then finally gets his one-on-one with Ilya, and maybe he beats Ilya for the title. But I don't want Ilya to go away until we get our Oba Femi match.
No,
You know what I
I
mean?
think he's sticking around. I think he's sticking around for a little bit, maybe at Heatwave or whatever.
Like Trick, I mean, they may do the thing where they call up somebody who's so red hot they don't want to take the time to make them the champion because then you got to book a whole title reign for him. But Trick's so red hot, he needs the title reign. I just don't want him to. I got it. Even if he beats Ilya, and then Ilya's last match is he puts over Oba Femi on the way up after losing the title to Trick, he gets a match versus Oba Femi, and they have that. Maybe that's it. I mean, I don't know. Here we go. So a few more puns. I don't know. Manda X31 says John Silverback.
Very nice. Very nice.
Matthew Plus says the Manatee.
Very good.
Cockatoo Jack, not Cactus Jack, but Cockatoo Jack. Killer Kowalski.
Very nice.
Ian R says Lexis Lion King. I credit my friend Thea for this. Well, Thea, thank you from Ian R.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ian R D says Giovanni Vincita. Ian R says Booker Mena T.
Very nice.
Ian R says John Oxley. Hold on, we have one up here. It was good. Platypus Hobbs.
I feel like Powerhouse Hobbs gets a lot of good puns.
He deserves a lot of good.
It's a good spot.
And Luis Polito says CMLL puns. Leono King, Blue Panther, Gallo Jr., Tiger Mask.
Sometimes they just write themselves.
They do. So we had one here from Ricardo, Little Singer since '88. Not NXT, but have you two had a chance to watch Bray's doc yet? It is beautiful and gut-wrenching. Very well done. I have not had a chance to watch it because vacation, but I will watch it this week.
I will too. I have not been in the headspace to cry at that yet, but I will get to it.
All right, Jukebox. We are not going to make it in time, but who cares? It's my first day back. It's Corey's fault. It's always Corey's fault. If Corey didn't come on, we would totally be under time.
Oh, for sure.
Sure. It's okay. We talked to TNT. They're giving us an overrun. Ricardo wants Darby to sing Black Swan by Megadeth. All right. Darby singing Black Swan by Megadeth. Here we go. I thought a desire worth any pleasure could never really be a sin in vain. 101 shots of opportunity. I gladly take them all again and again and again. My angels left me with sorrows all on my own, and now I'm here with a devil all my own. Just like a churchyard shadow creeping after me. It's only there to terrify my mind. A black swan keeps haunting me. Malachi Black. Swan. Louisville wants Braun Strowman to sing Karma, 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 Karma Chameleon by Culture Club.
I also would like to see that.
This. Yes, I'm sure you would. Okay, here we go. Desert loving in your eyes all the way. If I listen to your lies, would you say, I'm a man without conviction. I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go. You come and go. Karma, 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 chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Whoa, whoa. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dream. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and get these chameleons.
Chameleons.
Chameleons. The return of the Regal rap. Luis Polito wants Regal to sing Can I Kick It by A Tribe Called Quest.
Hell yeah, that song rules.
Happy
birthday, Luis.
Oh my, okay. There's certainly a lot of repeating here. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. There's a lot of asking if kicking it is possible, and a lot of responses in the resounding affirmative. Here we go. Can I kick? Can I kick it to all the people who can? Quest like a tribe does. Before this, did you really know what live was? Comprehend the track for its why, cause getting measures on the tip of the vibers. Rock and roll to the beat of the funk fuzz. Wipe your feet really good on the rhythm rug, sunshine. If you feel the earth to freak, do the jitterbug, sunshine. Come and spread your arms if you really need a hug, sunshine. Afrocentric living is a big shrug, sunshine. A life filled with fun, that's what love, a lower plateau is. What we're above. If you diss us, we won't even think of. We'll nipper with peas. The doggy give a big shove. This rhythm really fits like a snug glove, like a box of positives. It's a plus, love, as the tribe flies high like a dove. Can I kick it? And it repeats as such. War games. Okay.
I love that War Games is like the Toodles.
It is. Speaking of which, Tom LaValle wants Tiffany to sing Snowbird by Anne Murray.
Oh my goodness. 2 Tiffies tonight.
The 2 Tiffies.
Beneath the snowy mantle, cold and clean, the unborn grass lies waiting for its coat to turn green. The snowbird sings the song he always sings and speaks to me of flowers that will bloom again in spring. When I was young, my heart was young then too. Anything that it would tell me, that's the thing that I would do. But now I feel such emptiness within. For the thing I want most in life is the thing I can't win. Spread your tiny wings and fly away and take the snow back to where it came from on that day. The one I would love forever is untrue. And if I could, and if ads, if I could, that I would fly away with you. The breeze along the river seems to say that he'll only break my heart again should I stay. So little snowbird, take me with you when you can go to land the gentle breezes where the peaceful waters flow. Toodles.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the ad break.
It's okay. It happens. It happens. What can you do? What can you do? Okay. So Lieutenant Photo wants Linda to sing Happy Birthday. Here we go. First of all, there's a pun. Jesse Ozorg, who was a 19-month member of the Fightful trainees, says Adam Pangolin. Is there somebody a Pangolin? Adam Pangolin Page.
There it is.
Pangolin Adam Page. There we
Killed
go.
It.
I heard. Have you heard? He's been suspended by Matthew and Nicholas Buck.
Oh my goodness!
They suspended him. Matthew and Nicholas Buck suspended him because he put his hands on an official.
Well, he did beat the hell out of an official. That is for sure.
You're not allowed to do that. I've heard. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lieutenant Colonel Photo. And thank you for your service. Happy birthday to you and
many more. Oh no, we instinctively knew that to do that together. Yeah. We have become one.
Very serious wrestling review show. Louisville wants Tiffany to sing Fireflies by Owl City.
The song rules. I actually heard this the other day and was like, holds up. Mm-hmm. You would not believe your eyes if 10 million fireflies lit up the world as they fell asleep. Because they'd fill up the open air and leave teardrops everywhere. You'd think me rude, but I would just stand and stare. I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slowly. It's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I'm asleep, because everything is never as it seems. Toodles.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Corey David saying something I also agree with. Oba Femi is the future of WWE. Him doing the "it's over" at the end made it seem like the match was supposed to end with a knockout. Just showing his improvisation skills was really cool, and it was like that was a really cool little thing where he did the. Honestly, give that to him. Taker's not using it anymore. He should be able to do that. I like that a lot. Okay, cool. All right. There we go. Hello. It's been a while since I've been out. I've been doing things.
It has been a while, sir.
I've been on my world tour.
You have? Where have you been in the world?
Mostly Thailand.
Mostly Thailand. You ride any elephants?
Yes. Let's say yes. Let's say I was there to ride elephants and not any other things that Thailand is known for. So I'm supposed to sing "The Lion Sleeps Tonight." I don't know if I can hit the high notes anymore, but I'll try. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Wee, I'm on my way. Wee, I'm on my way. A wee mower, a wee mower, a wee mower, a wee mower. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the quiet village, honestly, if I was in that village, I would get away from that village.
Not great. Not a good situation in the village.
It does feel like that when the lion wakes up in the morning, he will be hungry and will come directly into the village to have a snack, which will be the people who live there.
It'll be the humans that live there. Yeah, it's not great.
Like so, wee mower. And now, see, I feel like you're gaslighting this poor child. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling. The lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling. She is right to fear.
You're just supposed to be performing. You don't have to analyze. You just sing your song.
Right to fear the lion sleeping nearby, because once it wakes up, again, it will be hungry.
Ricky, I don't mean to be rude, but we don't pay you to analyze the song. We pay you to sing it.
Wee, I'm on my way. A wee mower, 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 a wee mower. Right. Well, that's it for me. But there's somebody else here I feel like who wants to talk to you. It's me, baby. I'm back. I'm back better than ever, baby.
Oh, the ghost of Dusty. We missed you so this past week.
It's right. So hold on now. The Electric Mayhem says, I'll be home in Philly, but unfortunately don't think I'll be attending anything. However, I hope everyone going has a fantastic and safe time in Philly. Jukebox for the Ghost of Dusty, that's me, to sing Sugar Sugar by the Archies.
My goodness, we need a trio of Noam Dar, Ricky Rainbow, and the dust of Ghosty Road.
The Dust of Ghosty Roads, man. That's a different person. Don't worry about him, though. Hold on. Sugar, oh, honey, honey, do. You are my candy girl, baby, and you got me wanting you. Honey, do. Oh, sugar. You are my candy girl, daddy, and you got me wanting you. I just can't believe the loveliness of loving you. I just can't believe it's true. I can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar, honey. You're my candy girl. You got me wanting you, if you will. Ah, honey, sugar, you're my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Daddy, baby daddy. When I kiss you, girl,
baby daddy. Oh no.
I wish I could be the kiss goodbye, baby daddy. I like the summer sunshine, pour your sweetness over me. Pour your sweetness over me. I have been a baby daddy in my time. But I have not yet been
so many kids.
I have not yet been a daddy baby, but I could be. Daddy baby, was that like that? That was that movie they released a few years ago. I believe that was Boss Baby. That was not Daddy Baby. That was a different one.
No, Ghosty Road.
3 Men and a Baby was a different one as well. That had Tom Selleck in it, and Ted Danson, and Steve Guttenberg. I love that movie. Three Men and a Baby.
Me too, Ghosty Roads. Me too.
All right. So that's it. All right. Well, goodbye. Keep cool, gabagoos.
Oh, you too.
Hey,
thanks for visiting from the great beyond.
Dwayne, you stop strapping my boy Cody. You stop it or I'll come. I swear to God, I will. I'm being called back to the great beyond.
Oh my, Ghosty.